Okay, so Command D duplicates that. I can use that same thing later on to cut off the neck. And now with the head, I'm going to drag a bounding box around most of it because I know it's an easy cut to make. Hitting backspace to cut off the top. Deleting these bit by bit. Couple of bounding boxes, and away those go. Okay, double click on this and hit backspace and get rid of that. So all of this business under the neck, I definitely do not want that to remain after I've taken care of the rest of it. So I'm going to K for fill. Quickly go through, fill all of that business on up. Get rid of it. Alright, so I've got a very basic torso of David, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to make my first symbol, and this symbol is going to incorporate kind of his torso area. So we're going to convert this to a symbol. I'm going to call this symbol DAV for David, TORSO for torso, 001. You can see that this wants to be a movie clip. We want to set that to a graphic. And click OK. I'll just show you that in the library now, you've got the torso, and that's an important place for it to be. I'm going to go ahead and select this business and move it on over here to kind of grab as much of this neck as I think is necessary for his body. Don't need this anymore. Double click on that and hit delete. Go on ahead and set this back to about 400%, holding down the space bar so I can maneuver around. I know I don't need any of the rest of this body anymore, so go ahead and switch this on back to maybe 100%. With my bounding box selected, I get rid of all of that body. I'm going to go ahead and set this back to 400%. Move on over to David's head. And you'll just have to kind of guess as to whether or not it's worth going after all these artifacts or not. So our head is going to be done pretty soon. These circles are easy enough to recreate, so I suggest you don't bother not building new ones if you feel like they're not working. So I'm right mouse clicking, that's the right side of mouse click, to select this so that we can go to select convert to symbol. Convert to symbol, it's one up from the bottom. And we're going to call this DAV HD as a abbreviation, 001, because I like to make things work along this camel cap's numerical highlight. Okay. Now we have the head. You see that's appeared inside of this area. So we've got our David head. This is our original JPEG. This is our torso that everything attaches to. I'm going to Q. Q is in Queen to highlight the head and also turn it into the transform tool. And with this we can set up a joint at the bottom. With this joint selected, we can now move the head about. Okay, let's go over to our torso. Our torso, I still have Q as in Queen selected. I can grab this little button right here and move that about. I may or may not leave it at the pelvis. Typically you want to root a pelvis right about there between where the two humerus heads would exist. We don't have a functional spine on this. I'll show you how to make a functional spine in class. With these limbs, what we have to do is now break them apart. To do that, again, the wisest thing is to grab multiple versions of it. So Command D to duplicate it, and Command D. Don't want to highlight all that stuff again. So I've got to do a shoulder area, an elbow area, and a wrist area. So I'm going to do this. I am going to bother to make my color nothing. Holding down Shift key, it's just as easiest to build these as pure circles. Command D, duplicate that. So this time, I think I'm probably going to be able to figure this out at first. You want to get kind of a nice amputation of it there. Going to immediately get rid of the rest of the arm. And you may say, well, you just need the hand. Why don't you do that? With just the hand selected, I still feel more comfortable having the whole limb to cut up. Maybe I'm just a traditionalist about this, but I like to have a little excess when I make my puppet pieces so the things overlap. Generally, it's the portion that's closest to the viewer's eye, like the hand is going to be the closest to the viewer's eye, that you want to keep more large as an overlap. That way you have plenty underneath to cover up, but not so much that it's going to show up as you rotate the limb. And this is not full animation. This is a little bit of kind of anim cheating, I guess you'd call it. So when you're cheating in your animation, you are going to have some things not show up properly. And that, unfortunately, is just how it goes. So I don't need that down there anymore. You see I get like a nice cut off there. I'm going to have a little bit of overlap on this arm at the top. I'm going to hit Q, and I'm just really estimating how I want to make that just a little bit larger as I go over top this. And Command Z lets me undo that. Use my arrow to move over slightly. Then I want to Command D, save that for our last cut, which will be here. Again, you see there's not much overlap. I don't want this projecting out like a spike under that arm. So select this. Again, the click and drag bounding box, you know that from Illustrator, is really useful on this stage. I just need to get rid of this. Hitting the backspace key. Often when I'm doing this, I immediately think, oh, there's a more efficient way to do this. If this becomes your job, you'll become like blindingly fast at designing this stuff. Alrighty, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to grab this, right-click on it, convert that to a symbol. And this I'm going to call, because it's the left hand, stage left, DAV, L, FT, HND. Even though it's the wrist, I like to call this the hand because it's obviously a hand. And click OK. Make sure that this is jointed at the wrist. Okay. Grab this, right click on it, convert that to a symbol. DAV, LFT, ELB for elbow, 001. That is going to allow us to kind of joint this as an elbow. See, I'm grabbing this point of rotation, deformation, transformation, elbow. Alright. Grab this here, right click on it, convert this to a symbol. DAV, SHLD. Almost forgot my LFT prefix. 001. Alrighty. I'm going to do the same thing to the other arm. I'm not going to bother actually showing you that. I'll just, get it so that it moves on a little faster. Alrighty. So, on to the next video.